Hello race fans and welcome to the first episode of Talking Motogp for what seems like an eternity. It is 2020. We're going to start things off by talking about, we've got so much to talk about, so get comfortable. And yeah, we're going to start things off by
2019. You remember that?
Remember
there was that thing that happened a while ago, you know. It's been like 20. Remember January happened over about 10 years.
Can you believe it?
And I remember, I vaguely remember those days, 2019.
We still don't have hoverboards and motorbikes flying in the sky.
They lied to us.
Back to the
They
Future.
lied to us. They lied to us. I want to start talking about drugs, because drugs are important.
In motorcycle racing.
Well, they're getting increasingly important because we got two guys. First of all, there is our rock and roll, porn star?
Yeah, in the making.
Porn star, Andrea Iannone, everybody's favourite underwear model, was caught at the Sepang test, was found they had some steroid or something like that. I don't know what they all are. Then they argue, and he's been suspended right now. We still don't know. They're going back and forth in court. We don't even know who the second Aprilia rider is going to be. Aprilia don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. But anyway, so Iannone was caught with some sort of steroid, and of course he says he
was eating chicken.
Yeah, he was eating chicken or some sort of coronavirus battle.
And
I don't know, and slept with 72 different whatever Malaysian. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it all went a bit wrong. But anyway, every single time anybody's caught with any sort of steroid in their system, they always say, "Oh no, I drank." Remember,
I ate something.
Noriki Haga in the 90s.
Yeah.
He caught with some Japanese
green tea.
Yeah, it was Japanese thing, and then he said, "Well, no, it's in this natural Japanese tea that I drink." And they found that in order to have that amount in his blood, he would have to have drunk 30 liters of this tea.
So you were illegal, and you did
illegal. But okay, he's not my favorite drug addict. My favorite one is Ant West. You remember him?
Oh, I can't believe this guy, hey?
Okay, so in 2012, he was caught with, I think it was steroids or something.
Yeah.
And he was banned. And he wrote this long thing on Facebook about what a bunch of idiots the
FIM
are, and everybody's an idiot.
I hate bike racing,
and I hate everything. And then finally he got, I think it was a 2 or 3 year ban, whatever it was. He came back again, raced World Super Sport, and when he was found with cocaine in his system. Okay, at that point, Ant West, I'm sorry, the problem is not anyone else. The problem is you, okay? And then, of course, long story about how what a bunch of idiots everyone is. Then he tried to race in Brazil, which are not FIM affiliated.
Yeah.
But FIM have thought of that. So in his original ban, they said if you race anywhere that's not FIM, then that kind of extends your ban for that period of time.
Yeah, so even more banned.
Yeah, so then he goes and writes this long thing.
But how Marquez was given a title.
Marquez, if I'm cheating, Marquez cheated in Moto2 and Rossi cheated with tyres. And
it's got nothing to do with talent.
No, mate, you were caught with drugs twice. Yeah. The problem is not anyone else, mate.
And cocaine is nothing that was put in your chicken or... cocaine was...
Yeah, he went partying. I went partying with Iannone. I don't remember what happened. We all caught coronavirus and ate bats.
Drugs in motorcycle racing.
So anyway, Ant West, well done. Iannone, you're still my favourite porn star in the world. Good luck with your Pornhub channel. Hope it all goes well.
But I hope he comes back because Aprilia seem to be getting their bike right. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. But his B sample apparently has come back. It's now been suspended, but it doesn't look like he's going to make the first race at least.
This is exactly... Okay. They have got a claim. They can say, well, there are reasons why they would appear in your system, but every single time anybody's ever caught with anything in their system, it's always the same argument, and usually it doesn't pan out. No. You know what I mean?
It results in a suspension, or you got to...
Sticking with 2019, you remember there was a guy named Brad Binder who rode a thing called a KTM Motogp bike, both at Valencia and at Jerez. You were there for one of them.
I was at Valencia.
He was at Valencia. I hate him. Anyway, he rode at Valencia and Jerez, and he wasn't fast. Okay, there on the day. He was like 2 seconds off the pace of the leaders. Now, you never judge on lap time. You judge on the gap to the leaders because, the track conditions change and all that. But something interesting, I went and looked up the year before. You had Oliveira and Hafiz Siren.
And Zarco.
Who all went across the KTM.
Yes.
Binder was nearly a second, it was around, I'm an average now, about a second a lap faster in his gap to the leaders than they all were.
Jeez, that's impressive. And that was pretty much the same motorbike.
It was the same one. The only thing I can say is Oliveira and Siren were on the Tech 3 team who were new to KTM.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of a role that plays.
Yes.
But Binder was around a second a lap faster than they were, compared to, or second lap closer to the leaders than they were. So that's pretty good.
Oh, look, we're going to talk about him a bit later. We could have a whole show just talking about the brilliance that is Brad Binder. But So you did some homework, eh?
I did actually. I went to like red stuff. Remember that Christmas thing that happened about 3 years ago, you know?
Okay, so is that 2019?
That's 2019, then 2020 started. You'll remember that thing called January that went on forever. You know, we all grew old during January. They had a lot of signings. Now, Yamaha have been clever.
I think it's the best piece of business I've seen in a very long time in MotoGP.
So now Yamaha, now remember Yamaha, they're not thinking just next year, 2021 or 2022. They're thinking next 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So they've got two very talented riders, Maverick Vinales and Quartararo. And the problem is you've got people like Ducati and probably Suzuki and Aprilia and everybody sort of circling like sharks. I'm pretty sure Quartararo's had been dragging Gigi Dall'Igna as he'd be walking along, he'd be dragging him, come to my team, please. So what they did is they said, right, okay, Vinales and Quartararo, we're signing you now to the factory team. Yeah, you two, full factory ride, whatever you want, take it now. And they've signed them. That does cause a bit of a problem because you've got a gentleman named Rossi who has a bit of influence.
Yamaha.
He has a bit of influence. I think, you know what I mean? People like him. But that means that he is not in a factory team.
Well, at the moment, he has.
So, this is for next year. Right. I mean, they're already signing 2021 deals. So Rossi will be in the factory team this year, but next year he will not be. Now, what Yamaha have said to him, if he wants to carry on racing next year, they'll give him full factory bike with full factory support, everything.
Just a different paint scheme.
Yeah, it'll be probably in the Petronas team. There are rumours that he was going to ride
on his VR46.
He was going to ride his own team, but then they asked him about it. He said the problem with that is it's a lot of money.
And I don't want to
he doesn't want lots and lots of money. He says he would like to do that, but right now, no. They need lots of sponsors, lots of everything. But yeah, so there's a good chance that if Rossi wants to continue, it'll be on a Petronas bike next year.
On a full factory bike.
On a full factory bike.
Pretty much what Quartararo is doing this year. Quartararo's got the full factory bike in the Petronas team. Listen, take your hat off to Lynn Jarvis. Love him, hate him, think he's a doers, whatever. The man did a good piece of business. He signed Vinales and Quartararo, who I thought were leaving. I thought 2021 we'd see those two riders on Ducati. Ducati are desperate to get young, fast talent, and those were their two big names that they were scouting. So for Lynn Jarvis to tie them up, Rossi came out at the end of last year saying already, listen, I'll quite happily step aside if the team...
I mean, Rossi knows how this works. You know what I mean? He knows their position. He can't really stand there and go, do you know who I am? Yeah. That's not who he is. So then there's the question of what will Rossi do next year? He did say that towards the middle of the year he will actually make his decision. What is his sort of criteria, though?
I think he'll do the normal where he gives it the first 3 or 4 races. I think the Sepang test now has already kind of made him look like, well, I actually love doing this because I think this is the best testing we've ever seen from Rossi in a long time. So Michelin have got a new tyre that seems to be kind of favouring the Yamaha with the more grip in that. We'll get onto that as well. But I think Rossi will give it the 3 or 4 or 5 races, maybe see how it is, and we could see Rossi on a Petronas Yamaha next
We're all saying Mugello. Now, here's the thing, right? A lot of people are saying Rossi's finished, he's washed up, although he is more... Okay, think of it this way. People are saying, no, but teams want to win. They want to win. No. The sponsors want return on investment.
Yes, yeah.
They want to sell products.
Yes.
And when you have Rossi on with your product painted down the side of a ferry, it's going to appear on every single Facebook post, Facebook page, newspaper, magazine, everything you can think of, it's going to appear there. That is more than winning.
Yeah.
That is what they're after. They're going to sell more products by saying Rossi is on it. So for Petronas, they're quite happy. Buy Quartararo, come Rossi. Now, I think Rossi, I mean, he hasn't been doing that well recently, and I think if he were genuinely just out there only to win, he would have retired already.
Yeah, because he knows. He's
been doing this.
It's a long straw.
I mean, I was looking at it. This was his 28th
or something.
It's 26 years or something like that.
Well, he's 42 years old or something.
Yeah, he's 42 years old soon, actually. This week, I think. This week, he's like now 42 years old. Happy birthday. Ciao. But I mean, okay, so he's been doing this for so long. Does he even know what else to do? I mean, if you told him, right, this year you're not racing anymore, what would he do?
I don't know. Nothing. Like you said, I don't think it's about the winning so much anymore. It's about the passion for riding a motorcycle, and it's got to be. I mean, riding those MotoGP bikes has got to be the greatest thing in the entire world.
I think, okay, the first half of the year, if he's running 10th or anything further back than that, he's going to say,
could.
okay, well, yeah, not so much. But if he can run consistent top 10s, challenge top 5s, maybe even challenge podiums and things like that, I think he'll still go.
Well, people forget. What did he finish? 5th in the world title last year?
6.
41-year-old Oak finishing 6th ahead of the Joan Mears.
He's old enough to be Quartararo's father.
Well, he was ahead of Franco Morbidelli.
He's old enough to be Quartararo's grandfather, okay?
He was ahead of Franco Morbidelli in the title, the next best Italian.
Yeah.
He was ahead of Bagnaia, the next best. So the best Italian, other than Dovi, was Rossi. So I think we could be seeing him on a Patronus, and that'll just be another feather in the MotoGP cap to check it. Here's Rossi on a satellite bike.
There are some Rossi haters who know he must retire. Get over yourselves. I mean, come on. Go look at the grandstands. They're yellow. I know you like your other colours. They're yellow. People want Rossi
Patronus.
there. Yeah, they'll be sort of greenish yellow. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's all the signings. Now we had the Sepang testing. It finished this week. We're going to go through kind of manufacturer, and I want to start with both Ducati and Honda.
Yeah.
Now, Michelin have bought a new rear tyre. Michelin have kind of said to the teams, and I think they're all very grateful, is that they're not going to keep bringing new tyres, because every time they bring a new tyre, all the development gets thrown out the window.
Makes sense.
So the first time in like 2 years, they bought a new rear tyre. And said, right, let's try this new rear tyre. Yeah. So, and at least they bought it for all the testing, so everyone can test it, they can get the development around it. The new rear tyre offers a lot more grip. Now, immediately you think that's brilliant, that means they're faster, but no, it actually causes some problems, in particular for the bikes with very aggressive motors, Ducati and Honda. And what happens there is that they tend to go into a corner, stop the bike, turn, and use the aggressive motor to actually pull them out of the corner. Unfortunately, the thing is, when you get more grip, and you open with an aggressive motor, the more grip lifts the front, and then you lose the front and you fall down. As Marquez found twice. Dovizioso found, and so Ducati and Honda are having this problem where they keep losing the front, even in the fast corners as they open the throttle. The front wants to go the whole time. Whereas the more gentle bikes, which are the Suzuki and the Yamaha, the more gentle.
They were loving it. They were at the top of the time sheets.
That's exactly what they want. So anyway, so Ducati and Honda have those problems. Ducati, I just want to touch on something interesting. You got the whole shot devices.
Yeah, you get to the start line, you click this thing on it, loads the front, you get more drag off the start line.
Yeah, well, basically it lowers the entire bike. Yeah. They've had it in motocross for years.
Yeah.
And basically it just means that when you get going, the bike doesn't want to wheelie as much, you've got less drag,
you just get forward momentum,
Ducati and Aprilia had it before, now Yamaha's got one, it's all very exciting. Now there was a bit of an accusation going out there by the Spargos and a few others that Ducati don't just use it on the start. And I was actually wondering when someone was going to do this.
Okay.
Someone absolutely mental like Gigi Dall'Igna.
Yeah, the next Iron Man.
Can we make a set of forks out of custard? I don't know, you know what I mean? He's got weird things. Now, what they said is that, this lowering the motorcycle won't just be good off the start. Anytime you go onto a straight, it will be better.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. Now, the whole shot device needs to be mechanical. It's illegal to use electronics to lower the motorcycle, so it has to be a mechanical device. I'm not sure how it works. They turn a screw and the whole bike lowers down. I don't know how they do that, but anyway.
It does.
Now, what's to stop them from doing that every time they go into the straights? Lower the whole motorcycle. Less drag, less wheelie, everything better, more speed. And then when you put on brakes, the bike lifts up again and then it's ready for the corner.
Well, how do you do that? Like a giant elastic on the side of the bike and the rider just whips on.
A little guy is sitting there turning a little... But I was thinking about it, how would they do that? The whole shot device is a knob they turn. And I was thinking about it, what device do you use when you're going flat out down the straight? Throttle.
Yeah.
So surely if the bike was full throttle, it'll lower the whole motorcycle. That would work.
And now I'm sure a lot of people are scratching their heads out there and saying, well, why doesn't they just set the bike up lower in the first place?
Yeah.
The problem with that is the bike won't then turn in corners because in the front's going to be so you want that seesaw effect, but trying to find that balance has always been a problem, especially for these guys. If you could in a way get to the point where in a certain point in the accelerator the bike clicks into this lowering the bike mode and you just keep that low momentum and that low forward propulsion down the straight.
But Alessia Spargo said he was riding with Miller and he was sure that Miller's bike actually lowers down the straight.
Oh, we're going to have to investigate with that. I'm going to Qatar, so I'll find out for you.
I hate you. Seriously, I really hope your plane crashes. I'm not joking.
He's not joking either, because that's all he said to me the entire time.
Plane crashes.
Talking about Ducati quickly, their fastest rider was Bagnaia, but we've seen him do this before. Doesn't go about race pace or whatever, puts a soft tyre and does a fast lap. Yay, he's going to be the fastest rookie of the year. last year. It didn't kind of work out for him. So he was the fastest. Petrucci was further down there in 6th, but again, I think he just put a soft tyre and somehow just sucked a lap out.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
he'd sucked most of the 3
they were
tests.
terrible.
Way down.
Dovi was 15th.
Now, Dovi normally sucks in testing. He doesn't really care about hitting fast laps. But I think of all the manufacturers, I think Ducati's the most worried.
Well, look, I think they need to be worried. First of all, because now they've lost options like Quartararo signed for Yamaha, Alex Rins is now re-signed for Suzuki. So they're going into 2021 going, well, we're definitely getting rid of Petrucci. He's not going to do anything. He's going World Superbikes. Dovi getting a bit long in the tooth. We've now relied on this guy for 5-6 years. He has, for a couple of years, had the best bike in the paddock. He hasn't been able to win a title. Is he mentally strong enough? Is he? No.
Yeah,
so now who are we going to get? So for 2021, and now they're coming saying, we are not competing with... Before, their main rival was Marquez on a Honda. Not even Honda, Marquez. Now, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM to an extent have become their rivals. And Dovi and Petrucci came out of the test saying, well, we've got this fast motorbike now, but we've got problems.
We can't get around corners, especially that new rear tyre is causing them problems.
So you do think they're going to be on a Ducati in 2021?
We'll get to that. We're going to get to that.
I can't wait. I don't want to wait any longer. So let's move on. Let's talk about the Hondas then. The brothers on the Hondas.
Yeah. So Marc Marquez didn't have a shoulder for this test.
No.
Literally, he had his whole one arm was just... He had another big surgery because he keeps messing up his one shoulder. And they had that photo of him lying on his stomach, and you could see the one shoulder's all big and muscly.
Yeah, the other one's like weak.
Yeah, so he was struggling. I mean, he couldn't... He had 2 crashes during this 3-day test, and they're all front-end losses, where normally he'd pick the bike up again. He couldn't. He just fell over.
So do you think this could be the weakest? Well, he's come out saying that after this test, he's really worried because it was worse than they expected, him and the team, and he was really battling. You could see with the lap time that Marquez, even if he does go on race pace or whatever, towards the end, he's able to put in a fast lap.
He said right now he cannot do 20 laps. He will not manage 20 laps. In fact, the second crash, he was just really tired. I mean, he can't use the one arm, so he's using his other arm and his legs, and it gets tired, and you start losing concentration, and that's why he crashed the second time.
You can't attack knowing that if I high side and fling myself and land on the shoulder, it could end up in my hip.
Now, other thing is, okay, Crutchlow was very fast, but both Crutchlow and
we're going to Alex and Mark.
So, okay, when we say Marquez, we mean Mark. When we say Alex, it's the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now Crutchlow and Marquez were both saying that the front end on this new Honda is worse. Now, last year they both said the front end wasn't as good as the bike before. Now they're saying it's got lots of horsepower. I mean, Ducati and Honda are doing this top speed war where they're just trying to say, right, how much top speed can we get? But when you put more speed on a bike, you have to adjust the chassis to get that speed on the ground. But now, so they're both saying the front end's not good on that new Honda. And we've seen, again, the rear tyre's not helping that either. So they've got a front end that doesn't work as well. And then when you open the throttle, the front end doesn't work either. So
look, Crutchlow managed to pull it out the bag and put in some good... He finished the test second overall. So
yes.
Keep maybe just overshadowing some of the problems in that because
Yeah.
Mark and Alex weren't as fast. And we're going to talk about it as well. People raving about Alex Marquez and his Motogp and whatever. But the Hondas just weren't shaping like
they were saying they're worried. No one's raving about it. Everyone's saying, so this could be a problem. But what I will say is Honda's very good at this. When there's a problem, they go back and they put 20 million euros. They hire a whole lot of flipping child labor or whatever it is. And they get a whole stack of people and they build 17 new chassis and get 15 Japanese test riders, and very quickly, and next thing you know, it's all sold.
It's all sorted.
So Honda's very good at that. So we'll see what's going to happen. Now, moving on, where Honda were looking very worried, Ducati looking very worried, big smiles on the faces of Yamaha.
Iwatwa. Yeah, they're loving life at the moment. Like, apart from the business that they've done, they've rolled out a 2020 version of the bike that Rossi seems to be enjoying with the new tyre. Vinales, people will look at it, but he was only 19th. Vinales is coming with a new mindset. We always saw Vinales kind of do what Quartararo was doing. I've got to go for a fast lap time. And lead the testing timesheets. But come to race day, after 12 laps, he can't ride the bike anymore.
Exactly.
Vinales has now come in, and he came out of the test being in 18th or 19th, wherever he was, but he still came out saying, I'm happy.
So now hang on, this is just why we look at testing times, and it's great to look at testing times because it's something to do.
Yeah.
Okay, it means nothing.
No,
and I'll tell you
no.
why. Okay, Vinales was down in 18th place.
Yeah.
He did not set a fast lap time. He did only race runs. In fact, his team said to him, "You're not going to do fast runs. We've seen you win testing many times. You're world testing champion. Well done. We want you to actually win races now."
And a world title, please.
So they banned him from doing. I mean, how they do this is that you put soft tires in, you lower the fuel load, and you put the motor up to full power.
And you do 5 laps.
And you can do 5 laps, and then you pull into the pits. You know. So what he said, no, they're doing race pace, race stints. He did a stint of I think 16 laps.
Yeah.
And all of them were in the 1 minute 59s. Now that's sort of unheard of because normally the race pace is low 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah, 2:01.
Maybe 1 or 2 59s. He did consistent 59s. But it does show how this testing time is a load of rubbish because he finished in 18th place on the time sheets. So immediately you would say, oh no, Vinales in trouble. No, he was damn quick.
Yeah, Quartararo was doing the old Vinales. So Quartararo looked good. He climbed on the 2019 bike. He was fastest on the time sheets. He climbed on the 2020 bike. He was fastest on the time sheets. The question with Fabio is, can he do it over race pace?
Well, here's the thing. He did do a race run. And he was quick in the beginning, and then the tyre fell off and he went backwards. So that time started dropping.
Well, this is my argument now with Fabio. Does he have that World Championship mentality to really take it to the Marc Marquez and that for over a season? Because people say, yeah, he's going to win the title. He's never won a title. This kid hasn't won a title in Moto3, Moto2. Okay, he's in MotoGP now. Champions become champions. We've seen it. It's been a progression throughout. You don't ever see someone that didn't win in Moto3 or Moto2 all of a sudden become a MotoGP champion.
I'm not entirely sure Quartararo. I mean, you've got Marquez has now got this wax where every single race he's fast. Quartararo, I think he can win a few, but I don't think he can be fast.
Not over the season.
Yeah.
Not over the season.
So let's see, but he'll grow. He'll get better.
He will. No, for sure he will. But and another weapon, secret weapon that Yamaha did, another good piece of business from Lynn Jarvis. He's signing Jorge Lorenzo as a test rider, but then, so they're obviously paying him gazillions.
Yes.
He comes back, all of a sudden his back's better, he can walk properly again, he's loving life again, climbs on the Yamaha, but he climbs on a 2019 bike, comes out after the test, and he only did 2 out of the 5 days or whatever. He comes afterwards and says, oh, it would have been nice to test the 2020 bike. Why in this beautiful earth that we live in, would you hire someone like Lorenzo, only use him for 2 days and put him on the 2019 bike just to basically circulate? Because he circulated, he did a couple of fast times straight out the bat, and he came out and said, yeah, I'm back home, the Yamaha suits my run style, I love life again. But how much testing did this test rider actually do?
It was a great signage by him because he's ridden the Ducati and the Honda.
Yeah.
And now he can get on the Yamaha and say this, that, this, that, this, that. I can tell you also they had Zarco on the Ducati. Now he's ridden Yamaha, Honda. What else is
he tested a Suzuki as well, people forget.
Yeah, he tested a Suzuki, he's ridden KTM, he's ridden Ducati.
So the only bike he hasn't ridden
Honda,
is an Aprilia.
Now he's on a Ducati. So he's on the Avencia team. And you actually pointed this out, that I mean, everybody on a Ducati's fast. They've got 4 factory motorcycles. No, 5. Yeah,
Miller,
5
yeah,
factory motorcycles on there with 5 world champions, except for Miller. Miller should have been a world champion.
Yeah, he should have. But
he should have. Alex Marquez bumped him off. But anyway, we'll rave about Alex Marquez shortly. But interestingly enough, when Zarco pulled into the pits on this little team down the end of the pit lane somewhere, all the Ducati engineers are standing there, red shirts all around him. They want to know, what's it like compared to the KTM? What's it like compared to the Honda? What's it like compared to the Yamaha? They want to know where they can improve.
And his teammate, poor Tito Rabat, had one guy just wiping his screen. Oh, you again? Are you again?
Are you back here? Oh, yeah, of course, you're riding too. Do we have a bike for him? So anyway, okay, but Yamaha are really happy. So now Yamaha are winning the game of averages. They've got Vinales, they've got Quartararo, they've got Rossi, and now they've got Lorenzo. So if this were a team effort, they would win, but it's not, so I think Marquez...
So talking about Yamaha quickly, their weak point at the moment seems to be Morbidelli. I can't see Morbidelli hanging onto a Yamaha ride. If Rossi does take that one Petronas seat in 2021, I can't see Morbidelli doing enough to stay
He's going to have to pull something out. But I will say what was interesting is you had Lorenzo at the test spending a lot of time in Rossi's chatting to Rossi.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they kind of asked him about it, and this is what people tend to forget. I mean, when you're kind of at the racetrack and this guy is your enemy, you kind of have to hate him. And it's not just one way, oh, Rossi this, Rossi that. No, Marquez hates his enemies, Rossi hates his enemies, Lorenzo hates his enemies, Quartararo, everybody does. When you're not racing, and I think we've experienced this in our racing world too, when you're not actually at a racetrack, when you're somewhere else or not opposition,
you love everyone.
Hey, you want a drink, you want a beer.
You love everyone.
You're all fellow racers, and it's the same thing. I mean, Lorenzo and Rossi now... Rossi, in fact, last year when when Lorenzo announced his retirement, Rossi said, "Please, Yamaha, we need him here."
He was the big
He was the
influence.
first one who said, "Hey, we need Lorenzo testing
Make that happen.
Make it happen."
Look, I think Lorenzo also wants to get one over the Repsol Honda team. I think the Ducati days are kind of over, but he wants to get one over that Repsol
What's
team.
interesting is that, Rossi actually said Lorenzo spoke to him about a few lines and actually said he helped him quite a bit, you know what I mean? A few ideas and a few things about his riding. And Lorenzo was walking around the track spotting Rossi, which is kind of the old days where everyone said, "Ooh, Lorenzo and Rossi don't get on." Shut up.
Well, what a better, you don't have a better spotter for you than a 5-time world champion.
Suzuki, similar situation to Yamaha.
But then Suzuki, best looking bike on the grid for me.
How magnificent.
That livery. Oh, man. It was designed, 90 years ago? So you've got to translate
shows how kind of backwards we've gone. So what we've done is we've decided to take
retro
from 50 years ago, and it looks way better than anything we've done now.
But well done, Suzuki. When those pictures came out, I was like, that is sensational. And they've done a brilliant piece of business by hanging on to Alex Rins. Now, Rins has got the same problem for me as Quartararo. He's come close. He's never won a world title, and we saw it last year. He was blitzing on that Suzuki. Then all of a sudden he hits a brick wall, goes into a mental block. I can't do anything. Mir started beating him. So he's got to now fix that.
Yeah, but anyways, also Suzuki looking very strong now. Rins did also a race run, and everybody noted that it was Rins and Vinales did the fastest race runs. So
Jean Mir was also up there. He wasn't too far behind as well.
Yeah.
He set 1 or 2 fast lap times, Jean Mir. He's also going to be another big name that potentially Ducati are going to look at in that. So with the fact that Suzuki have signed Alex Rins so early, I'm kind of wondering that wouldn't they have done the same with Mir if they could have? That gets me thinking, is Mir thinking Ducati or something
I don't know
else?
if they want to sign Mir. I think they're sort of saying to him, "So kid, we signed you, come on, do something now."
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
We'll give you a contract halfway through the year if you perform.
So there's some nice guys that want your contract, come on now. Because I don't think Mir... he didn't set the world alight.
No, he didn't last year. He had 1 or 2 good rides. He landed on his head quite a bit.
He was supposed to be a Quartararo, this great new light. So he needs to kind of wake up a bit.
And this new rear tyre seems to be favouring the Suzuki.
Remember that the Yamaha and the Suzuki both have very gentle motors.
And the chassis,
so they carry more corner speed, so they need more gentle throttle, and that suits them. I'm going to move on to the surprise of Aprilia. Now, Aprilia, for the first time in 23 years, brought out a new motor.
Literally for the first time.
And what they did is they were always running 60-degree V4. Yes. Now they're 90-degree V4.
Which is pretty much the way to go.
And they brought it for the first time now. Now, I can tell you the problem with Aprilia. They're a passionate bunch. Great and everything like that. They just don't have any money.
They just don't.
They don't. So now, what was really interesting? There were actually 2 tests. There was a shakedown test at the beginning of the week.
Before,
Yeah, there was a shakedown test for rookies and. So we said
not the high-end factory teams, so not
the Repsol Hondas and all that. The sort of lower teams, including Aprilia. Aprilia bought 2 of the new motors, stuck them in the bikes. The test riders rode them, said, "Wow, we brilliant." And what normally happens is for the next test, the manufacturer brings a box with a new motor, all complete, and they stick it in the frame. Aprilia didn't have any more motors. So what they did is they got the team to take the motors out and rebuild them in the pits. Now, this doesn't happen. The guys at Repsol Honda and Movistar Yamaha, Monster Yamaha, and all of them, they are not actually allowed to see what's inside those motors. They take the motors out of a box, they put them in the frame, and when they're done with the motor, they put them back in the box and it goes back to Japan. The team, Grassini Aprilia were actually stripping the motor and rebuilding it there.
That is how,
it's all passion. They don't have a lot of money, but they're doing very well and they're looking very fast. Alessio Spargaro was giddy. He was jumping with joy.
He's happy. He is happy because his race pace was good and he could set a fast time. He was just saying it's a lot easier. Stability under braking, and that has never been a problem. The motor has always been the problem.
Well, they were fast. They were looking at the time. By the way, Yamaha was about 4 or 5 kilometers per hour closer to the top guys. So they've found a lot of top speed.
And that could be with a grip coming out of the corner.
Yeah, a lot of it. So their biggest weakness was the top speed. They found a bunch of it, so they're going to be a lot faster. Aprilia was quite quick. They were also up there. So Aprilia all very happy. They don't know who's riding their second bike because the other one started a porn career. He's now going to make millions out of Pornhub wearing underwear.
It will be Bradley Smith. Is their only option if he doesn't come right.
Next one,
KTM,
and this is one we're interested in. KTM. Now they've got a brand new chassis. Now this is our
Pedrosa bike.
Yeah, the Pedrosa bike we call it now. Now this is how it works. Now KTM have always had that steel trellis frame because that's what they ride on the road.
We will never change.
Yeah, and you can't put an aluminium beam frame and then say steel trellis is good. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Ducati did that. I'm not so sure it was the best idea, but anyway. So what they did now is instead of saying, right, steel trellis, they've kind of taken steel sort of trellisy beam frame, you know what I mean? So it's still steel, steel's still the best in the world, but it kind of looks a bit like the aluminium beam. You know?
They just call it a beam frame now.
They call it a beam frame now. So they've sort of compromised a little bit. And everybody looks extremely happy.
Really, really good.
Yes.
I saw Oliveira, Brad, and who's the second Tech 3 rider now? Oh, Lackawanna. Lackawanna. I couldn't think of him. But anyway, they were going, if you look at pictures of Paul Espargaro and Danny Pedrosa from the test, they were all on the carbon fairing, all the new aerodynamics, whereas the other three kind of went back and forth through the other ones. But on each of those, there was progression from each rider. Lackawanna made progression. Brad made really good progression. Danny Pedrosa was third on the final day or something.
He was hauling. And he was fast.
This is what you want from a test rider. This is what I don't understand about Lorenzo. Pedrosa did all 5 days, 260 laps or something. I mean, that Oaks body, he must still be lying in a sauna somewhere recovering because that is a lot of time. When Brad comes back next week for his meet and greets, remember to check out the Ride Fast page. He's going to be at KTM Centurion Saturday and the Rossi Sports Bar. So look on the Ride Fast page for that. But when he comes back, I want to talk to him because I've got pictures of Brad at the end of the test where all the KTM guys are hugging him and looking happy. But he looks absolutely exhausted from that testing. People don't realize these guys don't just hop on a bike and casually ride around. It's lap after lap after wrestling.
They had Miller. I mean, no, or Crutchlow or Miller. I mean, they did the entire race with a heart monitor at 185 beats per minute.
That's death.
I mean, that's like heart attack material.
That's death for me and you.
You know what I mean? Anyway, but it's ridiculous. I mean, the amount of exertion. But anyway, the KTMs have said that this new chassis has made it much. They've got a lot more field turning into the corner.
Into the turn, yeah.
And also they've got far better tyre wear, which was another problem they had.
Yeah, because Paul Espargaro was always able to set a pretty good time, but over a race distance they were just completely destroyed because he had to use so much tyre and so much energy wrestling the bike to get it where he wanted to go. Now, with an easier package on tyres that last, we could be seeing KTMs performing really, really well.
So we saw, Paul Espargaro was fast. I mean, he was like top 5. Throughout. He was really fast. Pedrosa was really fast. He didn't ride on the last day. Oliveira was a lot of the times popping into the top 10. I mean, he finished only 0.4 of a second.
58.
Okay, Lackawanna had a shoulder operation.
Yeah,
so he's sort of in Marquez territory.
Yeah,
he's a bit broken.
He was up and down.
So he was quite a bit behind. Then there's a certain Mr. Binder. Now, where do we start on this guy? I mean, he arrived. Now, he takes a while to adapt. We kind of know this. Binder's not one of these jump on the bike, go flat out.
No, he's got the maturity to know that it takes time.
Chill out, take some time, work on it methodically, slowly, get to grips with it.
Although, having said that, on his first day of the rookies test, he went and lobbed it at turn number 5 and destroyed his ankle and hurt his back like really badly. I spoke to Trevor Binder and he said,
"Idiot!
You can't believe how he actually didn't know how that oak was riding a motorbike. That's how badly bruised and battered he was." So, and he still did all that testing. So
anyway, he was back on it again. Now he finished in, I think it was gone. And
Let me tell you.
In between all his porn.
Brad Binder 19th. On a 59.1, 0.7 of a second off.
Now let's just point this out. Now, previously, if you could do a 59, you were a god.
100%.
That was if you could do a 58, you were like Thor himself. You know what I mean? You were Odin. You ruled everything you surveyed. Now, just about all the top 10s in the 58. Rossi even said, by the way, it was a funny tweet he put out.
I saw that. The old
now,
effing.
He's never done lower than a 59 before, ever in his life around Sepang. He did a 58.5.
Yeah.
And he said it's not bad for an old mother, whatever,
dog or something,
on Twitter, and everyone's sort of like, he's so cool. But anyway,
but Brad, I mean, I was impressed even after the first day. He was in the 201s straight away. And that is race pace in a MotoGP race. And he was faster than Johnny Ray on his MotoGP Kawasaki and World Superbikes.
Yes.
So I was impressed with that first.
I like what you did.
People think Kawasaki only MotoGP, but they are.
Actually. They are, just on a different name. Their MotoGP bike looks like.
I still love Johnny Ray though, so I know you don't. I do.
No, I don't. I haven't got a problem with Johnny Ray. I just sort of wish someone else would start winning now because it's getting boring. Scott Redding. How cool is that going to be? No, we're digressing.
A tattooed Englishman, yeah.
Oh, imagine him. He'll run around in his underpants. If you're lucky, he'll still have his underpants. Okay, so Brad was now. But the thing is, he was 0.7 off the leaders. I mean, he's way down there, but I mean, 0.7. He's only 0.7. He's on MotoGP career just started. He's only 0.7. on a bike that, let's be honest, is not the
Well,
greatest
it's half a
thing
second.
we've
Let's
seen.
say it's a half a second minimum, or probably a second in reality.
Yeah. Okay. So Brad really looking good, really looking strong. We're all
And he
very
progressed
impressed.
over the days, which was good. He went from
which
2
is
minutes.
What he said this is what he needs. He needs confidence in the bike. And once he gets confidence, especially in the front end, then he'll be fine. I mean, we've seen Brad, he doesn't care what the back wheel's doing. Half the time he's trying to overtake his front wheel, he doesn't care.
He's
As long
not
as the
worried
front
about
wheel's
that.
fine, it's alright. I'm going to get onto something, and this makes me a bit cross. We're journalists, okay, so we kind of know how this is.
Well, we like to call ourselves journalists.
We're people who report to other people stuff. You know what I mean?
We're people that send articles and pictures.
Self-proclaimed journalists. Now I go on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, everything like that. You follow a whole lot of the other MotoGP journalists,
The top guys,
famous names. I'm rather not going to mention them,
don't.
but anyway. And all we're seeing after this test is, Alex Marquez. Alex Marquez. He was only 0.4 of a second off his brother. He beat his brother's time there. Alex Marquez. Shh. Listen, what have you got? Repsol Honda has something on you. They do. They just...
they paid you.
Have they paid you? Do they send nice women to your hotel room? Do they give you good food? Do they give you drugs? What do they do?
Free t-shirt and a cap.
Okay, he was like 0.05 of a second faster than Brad Binder. He was on a Repsol Honda. Alex Marquez on a Repsol Honda is 0.05 of a second faster than Brad Binder
on a KTM.
On an orange cement mixer.
Gets a little bit better than that now.
Better than now. It's a sleeker.
But he was Alex Marquez on the championship-winning Honda, the greatest factory
Honda,
in the world,
everything.
Moto2 world champion.
And you're all going on and on about Alex Marquez.
I also look. He did well, but like you said, it's been blown completely out of proportion.
You can't rave about a guy when there's someone like Brad Binder right on his coattails.
No. Your brother had half a shoulder, was crashing, hated the motorbike, and was still faster than you.
Yeah. It's just, okay. So, anyway, please. Brad's doing very well. I can't wait for the race to start. I just hope Brad does something ridiculous. Beats Alex Marquez. He shouldn't beat Alex Marquez. Marquez is on a way better bike than him.
Yeah, I love that. Alex Marquez's biggest goal for the season is to be Rookie of the Year. If you do not win Rookie of the Year on a full factory Repsol championship-winning Honda, when your only other rookies are Brad Binder on a KTM and Lecoin on a Tech 3 bike
with no shoulder, you know,
then retire.
Then it's like retire at 23. You know, you're done.
That's crazy.
It's just, no. But I really, I hope we're going to see like a repeat of the Moto2 days where you've got Alex Marquez on a better motorcycle and Binder just going sideways into every single corner and just completely outriding it. I hope we see that. I really hope we see that.
I'm pretty sure we are going to see that. Now, before your unlimited data runs out after watching this video, I've got a question for you, Don. And I think it was Simon Crayford, one of the MotoGP guys, brought it up. Is the 2020 season now... with Marc Marquez with his shoulder problems, Quartararo, Vinales looking good, the Yamaha looking good, Suzuki looking good, Ducati hating life, whatever. Could this potentially be the best MotoGP season we've ever seen? Also because of the depth of rider that we've got. We've normally had the lickers like Abraham and these guys at the back. You now have Johan Zarco is probably the biggest licker on a full factory adventure Ducati. That is how far in depth this field now goes.
Ducati have 5 factory bikes on the grid. It's ridiculous. And then say, you got Zarco, double world champion, on the Vincia flipping, what's it called?
Tito Rabat is now like the only name that you look at and you think maybe he shouldn't be there.
Old Boris in Australia. I love this
we
man.
Love old Boris.
We love old Boris in Australia. What did he put? You got that MotoGP talk where Rabat says, that satirical side, if you don't know it's satire, then quit life. But anyway, he says Rabat walks in and says, I haven't signed a contract in 3 years. You know, I don't know, I just rock up and people race. Who's this Frenchman? Why is he trying to order a coffee from me? What was that? 3 sugars? No problem, sir. It's just...
But I mean, honestly, this is going to be a season.
I mean, we'll see how Lecuona gets on, but I think Lecuona is...
he's also the one, but he's fast.
But I think the only 2 lickers, as you call them, is Rabat and Lecuona. I mean, the rest they're the only sort of field fillers, if you know, grid fillers. The rest are all just...
could win races, could be on podiums, could finish top 5.
They're all like world championship material. It's
and like I said, with the fact that Marc Marquez is coming in with this like defect and kind of in the back of his mind thinking, geez, the shoulder's now a problem.
Shoulder. Honda's umming about the motorcycle.
The tyre maybe not working. Like I said, going into this season where the past 4 seasons it's going to be between Ducati and Honda. Now you can honestly say, well, Yamaha are definitely there, Suzuki are definitely there, KTM are definitely there for more top 5s and potentially
They're
more
looking
top
better.
podiums.
Aprilia looking better. Everyone's looking better.
So,
While Ducati and Honda, the two traditional best out there, are looking a bit worse.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it exciting now. And Rossi's still
exciting.
there, which
It's
is
exciting.
nice.
Now, 2021, we were talking about that briefly. The last bit, and then you can go. Your guards is nearly done.
Yeah, your guards is nearly done. My question is here now. Ducati have missed out on Quattro. They've missed out on Vinales. They've missed out on Alex Rins. Surely they've got to run out of patience. Petrucci's gone. They've got to run out of patience with Dovi. Who do they get?
I suspect they might keep Dovi, only because he's like this consistent anchor.
Okay. He's going to be second or
I
third.
suspect that what they would do is move Miller up to the factory team.
Definitely.
Petrucci, go and join Reading. You two can take drugs and walk superbike. Run around in your underwear.
And be Yetis.
Be Yetis, you know. I think Miller, okay, depending on what, look, it depends what happens. If Miller can keep up a strong pace, they'll move him up and take Petrucci's spot. Dovi, unless he really stuffs out this year. Ducati have not signed any contracts. They're sort of keeping all their riders on ice at the moment. Unless Dovi completely stuffs up this year, I think they might keep him again.
I read something where someone said the ball's actually in Dovi's court now, because Ducati were looking at these other options, not kind of thinking of Dovi. Now Dovi can say, well, I want €1 million more than what you're paying me, because who else are you going to get?
Well, okay, here's the thing. There is Leccuona. Maybe he'll do well. There is a certain Mr. Binder
On a factory.
Ducati. Can think about that.
That would be something special.
But then, okay, you've got in Moto2, you've got the likes of Marini and all of
well,
those
look,
coming up.
that's why I worry about Franco Morbidelli, because Marini, Rossi's half brother, blah blah blah. Morbidelli to me is going to be gone in 2021, maybe back to Moto2.
And maybe Rossi will be gone in 2021, in which case there are 2 Yamaha spots, good Yamaha spots, ready to go.
Jean Mir, Brad Binder, Leccuona,
I would say Marini. I think they'd move Marini up. He's going to be on one of them.
Definitely.
And then I could see someone like Leccuona or Binder.
Yeah, working on that
bike.
bike. Lorenzo coming out of retirement. How's this? This is another thing. He retires, to finish off. He retires, and now all of a sudden, Yamaha have applied for a wild card at Catalunya, which seems to be, and has always been, a certain Jorge Lorenzo's favourite track in the world.
Well, it was Jorge Lorenzo's favourite track for the first lap of last year, until he took out the entire field and kind of ruined all.
So, is he retired? Could this testing at Yamaha bring him back?
In his words, he did an interview with someone, sorry, I can't remember who, where he said that, look, at the moment he's 99% retired. Now that he's ridden the Yamaha again, he's 98% retired.
Okay.
So he said, okay, he's a little bit happier now, but he's still retired. And who knows, he'll do a whole lot of riding. Maybe he'll get quick again. Maybe he'll try again. Maybe the spark will come back. His biggest problem on that Honda is when you break your back, you sort of go, ooh, I could have been paralysed. And that little 1%,
the fear.
That little 1-2% in your brain.
The fear gets you. Yeah. I watched that.
So when you're back on the Yamaha and suddenly you don't have that fear and suddenly you feel good and suddenly you're fast again.
Question mark. We could see Rossi and Lorenzo
2021
Petronas.
World Champion, retired.
Combined age of 110 or something. In the Petronas Yamaha, they went from the youngest team to the oldest team. Anyway, listen, it's exciting times heading into 2020 and into 2021. We hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you still have data left. We hope you managed to watch the whole thing. We will catch up with you.
Hope you haven't died of boredom.
Talking MotoGP is back. We'll catch up with you maybe once more before the Qatar race, because there is another test coming up. I think it's Sepang 2, eh?
Yeah.
Sepang 2 coming up again, so let's see how that goes. Let's hope the KTMs can keep going. Let's hope Ducati and Honda can maybe find something. Let's hope Yamaha can keep going. But for now, we hope you enjoyed it. Catch us next time on Talking MotoGP.